Hey everybody, Sean here, and welcome to Revealing Truth. And special thanks to Ian Rudder for sharing this. In today's video, we're going to hear Reverend Elizabeth Riley from St. Dunstan's Episcopal Church in Washington. Well, there's the first problem. As we know, God has not permitted women to exercise authority over men in a pastoral position. And what we're going to hear today is a real mess.
There are countless examples, and this is just one of them, where I see someone wearing the name of Christianity and I cringe, because it does not look like the Christianity I want to be associated with. There are examples all of us have in our own lives. What's worse is when you get to actual stories in Scripture that make you go, ugh, that's not quite the example of Jesus I want.
Yeah, but we don't get to choose what kind of Jesus we serve.
That's not quite the example of Jesus I want. And this is one of them. Jesus and the Syrophoenician woman. And I name this because we often aren't given permission to say, I don't like that thing in Scripture, because it is such a sacred text, but it's a text that can handle some wrestling, okay? It has withstood centuries, so we can argue with it a little bit, okay?
No, we don't get to argue with God. He's perfect, sovereign, and always right. We can pray for wisdom on matters we don't understand, as we're told to do in James 1:5. But we don't get to argue with God about passages we don't want to accept.
So we can argue with it a little bit, okay? Jesus' treatment of the Syrophoenician woman is the last example of Christianity that I want. She is desperate. Her daughter is suffering and comes to Jesus begging for help, and he basically says that she's less than a dog.
Well, that's not true. He didn't call her less than a dog. He said it isn't right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. This has nothing to do with belittling her. Dogs was a term for Gentiles, and Jesus was explaining that he came to bring salvation to the Jews. And in this powerful passage, Jesus finishes off commending her faith and healing her daughter from demon possession. This is also powerful because it showed that salvation was also available to the Gentiles.
And he basically says that she's less than a dog. I mean, it is not a good look on Jesus. And I hate that it is supposed to be upheld as a scriptural example for us. Because that's not the Jesus I pray to. That is not the Jesus I know.
This is idolatry and creating a Jesus or God in your own mind that you feel more comfortable with. We don't mold God into what we want him to be, and this just gets worse.
I had the great gift of partnering with a rabbi over the last several years, and he came to my last place and taught Jewish Bible study for Christians, which was so much fun. I probably had the most fun in the class, to be honest. But he illuminated for us how unpredictable humanity had been for God.
Say what?
How unpredictable humanity had been for God.
My friends, nothing is unpredictable to God. 1 John 3:20 tells us God knows everything, and there's many other verses that confirm the same. To say anything is unpredictable to God is blasphemy. Like God saying, wow, didn't expect that to happen. Ha, you got me there.
How unpredictable humanity had been for God, right? Like, God does one thing and then we go over here and do this. Like, God could not have predicted the countless ways in which we have been surprising. So much so that it was like, well, let's flood the earth and start again, right? Like, our free will has taken us on this incredible path, and we are continually wrestling with God, and God is wrestling with us. We are surprising and confounding beings, and God is constantly changing and evolving alongside with us.
This is next level nuts. We may wrestle with God in understanding certain things, but He isn't wrestling with us. And He certainly isn't evolving in any way. Like, how can people actually say such things? And why aren't the people listening leaving?
And God is constantly changing and evolving alongside with us. We have so many stories of it. And here is another one. A moment rooted in the time and place of Jesus, where Jesus in his full humanity and full divinity comes to be challenged and changed. The Syrophoenician woman shows us what it is to live in faith that is not final or done, but with a God that is living amongst us and awake to the newness of our lives and experiences that cannot be fully encapsulated in scripture written thousands of years ago, but that can be made sense of with the lived experience of those before us to guide us where we are now. Jesus changes. We too can change.
Jesus does not change, my friends. There's many verses that confirm this. Some will say that Jesus changed his mind with the Canaanite woman, but a better understanding of that passage would be that he used her to set an example for his disciples and that he wasn't there for just the Jews. Just like Abraham's faith was considered works, Jesus was testing her faith, and when she produced that, she was no longer an outsider. Jesus didn't change. He was the instrument in causing her to change. But anyhow, that's enough of this lady for one day. Remember, God is perfect, unchanging, and incomprehensible with our finite minds. So it's okay to struggle with understanding certain things. But the things this woman said are not to be taken lightly. So we're going to leave it here for today, but leave your comments below. And until the next time, take care and God bless.